Hello and welcome to our next video for installing Zeek. So just to start, I am going through the Zeek installation process verbatim from the documentation. You can feel free to follow along, but if anything is a little outdated or not working for you, feel free to go back to this page. Maybe they updated it with some different commands or some alternate instructions. If you click on Get Started, then installing Zeek, you can scroll down right to here. And you'll see a list of 4 commands, which we need to run. So to start, let's open up a terminal. Let me expand this for you all. Now we need a root shell. To do that, you can type in su space root, and then type in the password from when you initially created your virtual machine. And now we have a root shell. All right, to start, let's grab our files here. I did notice one small problem. We do not have curl installed by default in Ubuntu. So to do that, we can do apt install curl. Okay, let's try that again. Should be able to paste the same commands. So what this is supposed to do is add the OpenSUSE.org repository for Zeek, and then installing the long-term support version of Zeek. Problem is, the last time I tried to run the command, I closed it out too soon. So what we need to do is kill that process. If this ever happens to you, you could type in kill -9 and then 4178, which is the process ID. Now we should be able to run these commands. If you get anything like this, you can just kind of skip through the configuration, which we don't really need to do. Okay, now that Zeek is installed, if you follow the documentation, we scroll down to the quick start guide here. What it will tell you to do is configure some of the configuration files. From the method that we did it, all the configuration files are located in /opt/c. We can go there, and you can see the file structure of Zeek in here. We go into etc. You can see those configuration files mentioned. So going from left to right, if we go into the networks configuration file, you can see that by default, it's going to be analyzing all the internal network space. If you really wanted to, you could just say you only wanted to monitor 56.0/8, which is the private IP space of our host-only network, and that's perfectly acceptable. Or if you have something more complex, and let's say you're chopping up your private IP space into 2 or 3 or more segments, and only want to monitor one of those segments, this is where you would do it. But for my case, I'm just going to kind of leave it as default. Not too worried about anything there. Next up is node.cfg. And this is where we want to tell which interface that Zeek should use. So we can delete that ETH0 out of there. Now we're going to open up a new terminal session in a new tab by this button here. If you type in IP space ADDR, you can see that this is the network that we care about, and this is the network adapter that we need to use. We could save that file. ZeekCTL, you can set up a mail server and send emails based off of certain kinds of activity or disk space usage or all that kind of fun stuff. This is all beyond where we need to go for the course, but it's helpful to know that it's there. Okay, so if we go to the quick start guide, it tells you to start Z control by typing in ZeekCTL. However, it's not found by default. Okay. What you have to do is go to the prefix of however you installed it. So for us, it's opz. So what we now need to do is go back a folder into the bin directory, and then go to ZeekCTL here. We can execute it by doing /c CTL. And now we have access to Zeek control. You can type deploy to kick off the configurations and get Zeek started. Now that it's deployed, if you wanted to stop Zeek, you can just type in stop and hit enter, and then type in start, and it'll start it back up again without redoing all the policy directories and the initial configuration steps from when we first deployed it. Okay, and now we have a working version of Zeek running on our Ubuntu virtual machine. We haven't quite tested it yet, but we'll get to that in a future video. I'll catch you on the next one.